the game can see the boxing voice.
Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go.
So it sounds great. It's a wonderful PR move. And now we have to look at the substance of it and see if it's real and if it exists. If it exists and if the terms are right, we're very, very interested. So I think they want an answer by 5 p.m. today. Obviously that's completely impossible on the basis of one piece of paper and a few words, but we want to see a contract and we want to look at the offer and we want to make the fight. It's very simple, and whether it can be made on those terms or on other terms, it's what we want to do.
Do you feel comfortable with the legitimacy? Shelly Finkel himself has brokered some of the biggest fights in boxing. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield.
The offer's come from Deontay Wilder, not from Shelly Finkel. Right. And the offer's not come from, have they got the money? I don't know. Can they? I'm not really interested in people looking to find the money. You've either got the money or you haven't.
Right. Hypothetically, let's say Shelly Finkel says to you, he's got $50 million in escrow in bank in Switzerland, for example. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, possibly. But it's more about the contract. There's hundreds of things to look
minor
at
deal points
in the deals. There's broadcast contracts that are going to cut across each other in different territories. What control do we have? Anthony Joshua's the complete A-side in this fight, so we want to be involved. He wants some control in the fight, and we want to know where it is. It can't just be, we'll let you know where it is. We're not interested in being whored out to different locations for potential venues and like a bidding war on the back of Joshua's name. So, but again, I say it's an offer, if it's legitimate, which we won't know for a while, that definitely pricks up the ears. And I think it's a good move for them all round from a PR perspective, and also maybe to try and make the fight. But it does get the conversations going, and hopefully we can get there.
Well, in terms of venue, we see that the UK is willing to travel
we want the fight in the UK.
Of course.
And our offer was based on a UK fight.
Sure.
Because we feel like we've built a great brand there. We feel like we've built a great fight scene. And we feel like we owe it to the fans to put Joshua's biggest fight of his career in the UK. Doesn't mean we wouldn't fight in the States. So, but where is this fight? We don't know. It just says our choice. So their argument would be, well, if we put up the money, tough, you do as we say. Not quite right, but there is an element of that as well. But we need to know where the fight's going to be, what's the date the fight's going to be, and all the other terms involved in the deal, not just a piece of paper from Deontay Wilder, because I like Deontay Wilder, but he ain't got $50 million, that's for sure.
Sure.
So, I wouldn't expect Anthony Joshua to make an offer to a fighter. The offer comes from me, from our business, and if you ask me to put up $50 million, I'll have it in your bank account today if you want. So that's the difference between the two organisations and the two people behind the fighters.
We have to, and again, it's going to be hard for you to make a decision because you're supposed to have a chat tomorrow, which makes sense
from
your
meeting
perspective.
Today. They cancelled the meeting today, and they asked if they could have the meeting tomorrow, and I said no problem, and I gave them a time, and I'm yet to hear back from them. So I believe we'll meet tomorrow, and we can start the conversations. But first, we need to see paperwork. We need to see a draft contract. Everybody the good news about this offer is that the people with, say, zero brain, zero education about the sport go, wow, you have to accept that today. The others go, hang on a minute.
No. I want to see where the money's coming from. I want a written contract to guarantee me that money.
Well, I'm sure that they can find a way. It's how they bring in the money through what sources.
Sure.
Because it's not a case of you just have Anthony's name and likeness and pour him out to every broadcaster under the sun and sponsor under the sun, commit him to do this and tours and media tours. So we need to see, but the amount of money is very interesting. So we have to check the legitimacy of it, and that's what we'll be doing.
Do you worry about perhaps maybe you not necessarily being happy with the terms of the deal, but Anthony being attracted to that $50 million, and perhaps you and Anthony not going at odds, perhaps about taking the fight, perhaps having a discussion?
No,
do you be on the same page?
We've spoke about it for weeks. We spoke about it last night at length. Spoke this morning.
What did he say?
He says, where's the offer come from? I said, from Deontay Wilder. He said, what's the terms? Where's the contract? I said, it hasn't come yet. I said, you have to accept it today. He said, well, we don't know anything about the deal. What they'll do is at 5 p.m. today, they'll make an announcement and say they didn't come back to us, which we have already, by the way, and they'll say the deal's off the table.
That'd be rubbish.
Well, we'll see. But
because
if they do,
I want to know where that money's coming from, and I want to see some kind of contract that's going to guarantee me that $50 million.
The money will come from the revenues of the fight.
Right.
That's the difference.
And where the revenue is coming from, and what
Anthony has to sign up to.
Right.
You know, you can do a deal with a sponsor that to sponsor the show for $10 million, but Anthony Joshua's got to fly to Dubai and spend.
Or he's got to wear a back tattoo with something branded on it, something ridiculous.
Loads of fine details.
Yeah.
But as they say, the devil's in the detail.
Yeah. And that's what you need to chat with Shirley about. And you can't give him an answer without chatting with him. You're supposed to chat with him tomorrow. Your deadline's today. Yeah. And your meeting was originally supposed to be today.
But it was cancelled by them and asked for tomorrow.
Which makes you think that could be a PR.
I'll let you make up your own decisions.
Right.
On that.
And I am putting two and two together. Now, in terms of venue, we see with Ricky Hatton, the UK does travel. So if it's in Vegas, for example.
If it's in Vegas, it'll be full up with Brits anyway.
Yeah.
But we feel like, with everything that's been built, that we owe the UK fans that fight. When we made our offer to Deontay Wilder, which was never acknowledged or replied to, it was for a UK fight. Is there more money in a US fight? Yes, there is. That's not really the be-all and end-all. Like whether Anthony Joshua makes 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, of course it's our job to maximise his earnings. But he's done okay so far. So it's just an important fight. And it's a fight I think boxing needs and deserves.
Not only boxing, sport in general.
Yeah,
we haven't had a proper undisputed heavyweight champion since the beginning of the 21st century.
We all have an obligation to make this fight.
And if your man was able to become the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion
after 22 fights.
After 22 fights. I mean, he's a huge star the way he is now, but we're talking about a global icon status.
Yeah.
With you, under the Matchroom banner, but also AJ himself being able to have that and all the opportunities that are available. So it's right there.
Yeah. That's why we want to do it.
So
we may never get the chance again. There's going to be mandatories coming in. You know, we've got a mandatory with Povetkin. There'll be another IBF mandatory on us probably in October, November. Then there'll be a WBO mandatory.
This is the window.
Exactly. This is the window.
Shirley's got to come tomorrow and be able to negotiate these finer points with you, be able to have the proper documentation there, contracts, have everything prepared. You need to come with your line of questioning, right? And when are you gonna what are you gonna spend time? Because I know you're gonna have to put some time.
We're gonna look at the offer. We're gonna look at the intimacies of the offer. We're gonna look at other models. You know, can the fight be made on the offer that they've made? Potentially, if the deal is right. Can it be made other ways, with other models? Yes. Sure. We're not closing the door to other ideas. Sure. But the good news for fight fans is it's made the fight even bigger. And we're talking. Well, we are, hopefully. But you know, we're ready to sit down and talk.
Are you open to counter-propose the offer? Perhaps you're able to come up with money?
There may be a counter-proposal. I mean, our original offer was a flat fee offer for a UK fight. Do we change that to an increased offer? Do we make a percentage offer? Maybe. Or do we just accept their offer? At the moment, as I said, all we have is a piece of paper from some guy in Alabama, which you might not be comfortable to even wipe your
I do
ass
think
with.
it's fair to say that Shelley Finkel will have some kind of documentation or be able to... Pardon?
What do you mean, documentation?
Or he'll be able to account for the source of the funds.
I could do that. It's just, you know, I mean, I could account to the sources of the funds.
Right. And also not necessarily a hard contract, but maybe deal points too as well.
Deal points would be nice.
And I think he's again negotiated some big fights before, as you have. It would behoove him to bring that information. I believe he would
We'll
have
see what
that
happens today. If there is an announcement today that they've taken the deal off the table, I think you can make up your own
there would be a PR stunt. There's no doubt. Okay, so again, let's go real quick this weekend. Daniel Jacobs.
The middleweight division's really hotting up. I mean, Canelo's out of the game, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I know he'll fight again, but in the hearts and minds of the boxing people, he's out of the game.
And could be labelled a cheat by some too as well.
He will be for the rest of his career, rightly or wrongly, we don't know. Gennady Golovkin will fight him. The winner of this fight will be the mandatory for the WBA world title. I love the Danny Jacobs Charlo fight. I love the fact that Danny Jacobs could fight Derevenchenko for the vacant IBF title as well. I think he's in a brilliant position. I think he's a superstar. I think he needs to put in a performance that he can stand on the turnbuckle and scream and shout at after the fight. That's what he needs on Saturday night.
Can't really blame him against Arias because Arias did a lot of holding and surviving
in that fight. He went in his shell after he got hit. And unfortunately, as we said, we know that Danny's elite level. Is Arias elite level? No, he's a world-class fighter.
And he's smart enough not to get sloppy in the Arias fight where he's leading himself.
He won every round. What more can you do?
I spoke to Jamal. He was at the Barclays last week, and he'll be attending the fight. Should Jamal perhaps have a quick chat with you?
Yeah. I'll sign Jamal Charlo. I'll sign Jamal Charlo. I'll sign both brothers.
And you can give his brother Kelbrook?
Sign both of them. I'll pay them a lot more money than they're making at the moment. They don't have a promoter. And I like them. They're great fighters. They're making a lot of noise.
They looked the part.
They had no profile at all because they have no promoter. And now they're doing it on their own. They're coming out, they're calling everybody out. And I like what they're doing.
Okay, so when I see you at ringside, I'll bring over Jamal. You can have a chat with him. And then you can also ask him for permission if he's going to act accordingly to maybe have a word with Danny if he is successful. Beating a very tough Zaleski.
It's all good fun. This is a tough fight against Zaleski. A very tough fight. People just overlook it and say, oh, you know, it's an easy win for Dan Jacobs. This is a very tough fight.
So, US, make sure to tune into your HBO this Saturday over in the UK. Sky Sports when you get home from the pub. Katie Taylor, Daniel Jacobs.
Shout out to the US fans.
Brooklyn.
Second week of May.
Brooklyn
we'll have an
boxing.
announcement here that will change the game.
There you go. Exactly. All right, we're looking forward to actually also hearing from what happens tomorrow after your chat with your good old friend, Mr. Wrinkle.
Surely.
Cheers.
What is up, TBV family? Yes, YouTube has been cutting funding to their channels as of late, and with net neutrality going through its process, the internet is changing. If you want to keep your favorite channel intact, coming up with tons of content, and plus get hours and hours of extra content, head over to patreon.com/Thaboxingvoice to become a member of the TBV family and help support the channel. Peace.
The game, 'cause see the boxing voice.